These questions, they can be kind of answered individually, or if you want to both take turns, if there's something specific you got to say, feel free to throw your 2 cents in, as it were. As already said, thank you for taking the time to do this. It is always an absolute pleasure, particularly during this period, coming off the back of a new release. And my expectation is that things might have calmed down. They often don't, because obviously you're still doing press, you're still pushing the album, you're still doing content for it. How are things in the Pershagen camp at the moment? Are they calmer? Do you feel a little bit of relief now that Hilma is out and been sent out into the world?
Yeah, it's a bit of relief, actually. It feels nice to get it out there. And also we have received such great good reviews, so that's always nice. You never know before. But now we're pretty much focused on we had the first gig on tour last Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah. And then we're going on tour now in May. So and during the summer and next autumn. So
things are fine.
We do things like this, and yeah. So there's a lot of things to work with.
Yeah, things are kind of finally starting to get going again properly. Considering obviously this is not your first release, this is your third. Was there anything different? Did this feel different releasing this album? Particularly, obviously, you know, can't ignore it, the last couple of years. So do you think it was easier or harder releasing it this time around compared to your previous two?
Yeah, in some ways it was easier because we had help from the record label this time. All the last releases, we've done everything ourselves, and we made all the press for the first things, and then we had a PR company for the last album, but that we found ourselves. So it's been much easier in that way, that we got some help from outside, so to speak. So and all. Yeah, it's nice.
It's quite a different experience, right? I mean, obviously you've been so hands-on in the past with the previous, kind of handing stuff over effectively and leaving others to do it for you. Did you find that quite uncomfortable at first?
No, I don't think so, because the good thing with our label is we have vad fan säger man? We don't have they don't have much to say about the things we want to do.
Yeah. Or we have a say in everything as well.
A good relationship then.
Yes, we have. Yeah, exactly. We have a good relationship at least until this day.
Yes. Or you need to keep that going. You mentioned obviously incredible positive reviews from sort of the press side of things in relation to Hilma. But what I want to ask you, what you've noticed about the fan reaction. So we're talking more the general public. We're talking about your comment system, you know, be it on social media, people messaging you, and just generally what people have said to you as well, face to face. How have you found that reaction?
Yeah, we had our first gig of this tour last Friday, and there was one guy there who saw us live a few years ago, and he said, "Yeah, back then I didn't like you, but now when this album came out, I really liked it. So now I've traveled like 300 kilometers to get here. So there's been some some positive fan reactions for sure."
It seems like it's been a really warm welcome from the fans. They seem to like it a lot, and I mean, even though it's to some it might be a little different compared to the earlier records, but at the same time I mean, we feel like it's a little bit more of everything. We have some songs that are, you know, more traditional songs or the arrangement, very arranged songs. And I think we managed to to get more of the live feel. The stuff that tend to happen when we go on tour, we managed to get into the album a little bit more this time. So it's a little bit of everything, kind of. It's more like improvisation, maybe.
I mean, it's progression, you know, it's your third album, everything you've learned up to date. If you were still making the exact same music that you made perhaps in your very first release, that may not always be seen as a positive thing, because then it's questions, what are you learning?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also your influences change, and like musically you feel that you want to, maybe you don't like the same things even, so you want to like get something else through musically.
Getting older.
That's also the best part with this band, because the next album could be a jazz album. We don't know. It depends on the mood, actually.
That keeps things very fresh, very interesting, and very exciting. I have to ask then, what about the last 3 years specifically? Of course, we're talking about the COVID pandemic time. How much of an influence has this period had on you, the writing, the work in this album? And I guess the bigger question is, would Hilma exist as it is right now if the world hadn't grinded to a halt?
Yeah, I think it may have been quite different, because we went to Germany and like played like just like a few weeks before the lockdowns happened, and we were looking forward to going playing some more. But at that time we already started working on Hilma, so the process was already like going, but yeah, obviously we had like more time. So we took our time and we recorded this over 2 years. So it's been recorded. We have a studio, me and Jimmie, so we recorded in our studio over time.
Yeah, but I think we spent, I mean, even though we had more time, it seemed to was a little bit harder to get together, even though we hadn't have so many gigs during the pandemic. But I think we recorded it in 3 sessions or so, spread out through 2 years. So that was a little bit different compared to before, actually. The way we worked on this album, we spent more. We recorded it live, but then we spent some time doing like post-production and stuff, and that type of work.
Do you think, considering it's very hard to pull positives out of this period, and I guess we always try to find something, particularly when we talk to bands who had to work and suffered and worked their way through the pandemic period, do you think the extra time you had to, I guess, make this album, Hilma, the best it could possibly be, is a positive? Or do you kind of see the fact that you didn't have a stop point as more of a negative?
That's a bit. I think it's a bit. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, because everything is slower when you have like, if you have like a deadline. we have a tour next year this time. We have to have the album done by then, and then you just finish it. Then it might be that might also be good, but in the same way now, when we had like time to really think about the post-production in particular, and really like try sounds and try things, was obviously that's how it happened. So we're very happy with that as well, with how it turned out.
I think we'll do the opposite next time. Well, because I think the next album or EP or whatever it is, the way we talk about it right now is I think we're just gonna go somewhere to a studio that's not ours, and record an album in a week or so. because that tend to put some extra feel, not extra feel, but when you are at a certain place during a certain time and only work with the album, that's I like that feeling more actually. But it works either way. It's just like, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a very traditional way of doing things. Effectively, lock yourself inside a studio for 2 weeks and knock the album out, or whatever the release is.
Yeah, and all of us are really busy doing other things, playing with other bands as well. So that's also a reason why it maybe took around about 2 years to finish Hilma. So I think it'll be more effective, säger man så? Just going somewhere to a place, I don't know, outside Sweden or north of Sweden or so, and just record an album in a week and then do some post-production in our studio. Maybe we'll see.
Yes, we will see. But at this point then, as we are right now, May 2022, a couple of years after the pandemic started, and where we are right now, not like the world is fixed, but it's not quite in the bad state it once was. Do you think, Pershagen, you guys as a unit, a group, are stronger now, more focused because of what occurred?
Yeah, I think so in a way, because now we're all like really psyched to go out and play, and we booked a tour in Sweden, and we're working on tours in Europe and also mostly in Southern Europe, but we're looking at like all of Europe and we just want to go and play now, because
It's been so long.
Yeah, and also this, because it's so much improvisation and so much reaction on stage, we feel that the music it becomes something else live, which is the cool part, I think.
Yeah, it's a double part to you guys. There's the record, and then there is the live experience, and put two together, and you get the full picture, it seems.
Yeah.
And also, like before the pandemic, when we released the Tarfala album, we played a lot before we released the record. So we had played the songs on the album live a lot. And now we haven't played the songs at all live, and that's also different because it's like the arrangement to the songs became different on the earlier albums, because we had the time and the opportunity to play them a lot live before we actually recorded them. But now it's been the opposite almost.
So there's going to be a bit of experimentation, because of course you can plan out a live set, you can plan and work with each other, think what might sound right, but ultimately often over time a set list comes down to, that track while played live didn't really garner much of a reaction from the people watching. So I guess that aspect is all about experimentation over the next couple of months, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I think is really interesting about you guys, and it's the definitions. We in rock and metal, we love nothing more than to say this band belongs in this genre, this belongs in this genre. It's what we do. We pigeonhole bands. Doesn't quite work for you guys. You can attach as many labels as you want, but the overriding feel I think I describe you guys to people is just think big, think size. Hilma in particular is an album that is grand and sounds incredibly cinematic. How much thought from your perspective goes into this side of things? And the idea, I guess, that I get from it, which is open air, breathing deeply, fresh, just big. Is that something that you find yourself focusing on?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a lot of credit goes to Albin, who mixed the album. He's very good at making a big mix, but also we all like not super dense music, so to speak, not not like I prefer music that's not filled with all the information and that has more that tries to like push a feeling more than 1 million riffs or something. Even though that can be cool as well, but especially in this band, it's less is more, basically.
And it's like when we play together, this is it comes naturally. So the way we play with each other, that's the way it sounds on the album. And then to me, it's Albin or whoever mixes our music. It's more like their job is to fine tune the way it sounds in the studio. So a lot of the sounds are already there from the beginning, and we have a clear vision of how it should sound, and then they just add the magic to it, the cherry on top.
Yeah, and the layers is very good at like making the mix feel deep, I think.
Because one of the most intriguing things for me in particular is obviously, of course, you're from Sweden. That's not a country I've visited. It's a country, obviously, I've seen pictures of, and you name it and all that kind of thing. But obviously, from an outsider's perspective, I have an image in my head. And that isn't always necessarily something that's going to come through in music, particularly, obviously, as Sweden has quite a rich history in the rock and metal scenes. So it's always interesting to kind of see what your influences are from your country and how that comes through. Is that something that does happen a lot, that you do find yourself influenced and focused, not necessarily focused, but thinking about that history that exists in Sweden?
Yeah, both yes and no, I think. I mean, regarding the music, there seems to be some kind of Nordic vibe throughout the history, or the 1900-talet.
Yeah, the 20th century.
Yeah. I don't know how you say it in English, but vemod. You're saying.
Yeah, it's like some you know, I don't even know the it's like a dampened sadness. Dr. Google is our friend.
Oh yeah. But the music in Sweden, to my ears, a lot of it, the type of music that I listen to, is a lot of it is rooted in folk music, and it kind of like sounds like the nature in Sweden, the forest, and the mountains, and the landscape, which is very different depending on if you're in the south of Sweden or like in the north in Sweden where we started out. It's really different. Yeah, a lot of the music that me and Johan listen to it sounds like the forest, and it sounds like the Nordic landscape. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I guess the word we're searching for is melancholic, like Swedish folk music, and in particular, and it's very melancholic and also like mysterious in a way.
Yeah, and also even a lot of like indie pop or indie rock or very melancholic, and also like black metal, obviously, but black metal from Sweden or Norway has its own sound, compared to I mean bands from outside Scandinavia.
Like the Gothenburg metal bands, like, you know, In Flames and The Haunted and those kinds of bands that all have some kind of melancholic feeling as well, even though it's emo metal or whatever, like that kind of music.
It continues to be a source of great music, regardless if it is, as you said, the emo metal or yourselves or the more folk inspired stuff than anything else. One of the things, though, I think is really cool about Hilma as well is that there are a lot of challenging elements to it. There are a wide array and varied musical arrangements on that album. Is that something you quite enjoy doing with each other, challenging each other when it comes to bringing the music to the table?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when you make an album that feels like the songs are all have their own personalities. So it's not like 9 super similar songs. It's, to me at least, it's I think the songs have to have like a distinguished personality for it to be interesting on an album. Because it's an album is a collection of singles basically, so so that's all.
Yeah, and also I mean we had a few other songs that were supposed to be on the album, but when we started recording and we made some improvisations like Ofog i Djävulens sällskap and Solen är en trumma, which is basically lucky shots that happened to be recorded when we were in the studio. It's basically when we sound checked the instruments. So when we put the album together, it seemed like some songs didn't really fit in the big picture, and some improvisation where this is exactly what the album needs, because this is what's missing. And before we had those elements, it seemed to be more like song-oriented songs, and so it's good that we had some maybe more challenging songs, so to speak, on the album. That's good.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with listening to an album and finding 8, 10, whatever, straightforward headbangers, as it were.
That's great as well.
Yeah, but there's always going to be, at least from my perspective, way more interest in something that makes me go, I need to listen to that again a couple more times to really take it all in and understand perhaps what was going on in it with you. That's how it works for you guys.
Yeah.
How different then, and this is from your perspective, because from an outside perspective, it can be quite clear at times what the difference is. But for your perspective, being on the inside, how different is the Pershagen that came to life in 2014 and the band that is now effectively staring down its 8th anniversary?
Ooh, I feel old. No, it's quite different because we started out as a trio and with a different bass player, and back then we jammed everything together basically. But now we write more songs and we are more people in the band and different people in the band. So and also the first EP and the first album we did, I guess it's more straight ahead rock-y in a way, and now it's become even more psychedelic and more melodic in a way, I think.
Well, this is your 3rd album, and it feels like your name is beginning to spread around a lot more continental Europe and further afield. After all, I'm sitting here in the UK talking to you. Are you encouraged by the reaction to both Hilma and the fact that more people seem to be talking about you guys than ever before?
That's always great. So now we have a reason to go on tour and expand where we play.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean that's great. Yeah. That's all we wished for with signing with like Lovely Records, and you always want to expand your views and reach out to new people.
And especially get, and especially get it.
Oh, sorry, sure.
Yeah, especially get like some opportunities to go and play in different countries, because we've never been to the UK for like playing with this band, and ultimately that's what we want to do. We want to go everywhere and play live.
Absolutely, you're right. There's so many places you haven't even been to yet. Of course, Continental Europe is on your doorstep, so to speak. So ultimately, you know, it makes sense to spend time there, particularly after years of not really being able to do much, which brings me to the final question. And you've talked a little about it, the plans that you've kind of got over this next month and so on. And really, I understand that it's impossible to sort of say, oh, we're definitely going to do this, we're definitely going to do that. But it's more the hopeful plan and what your goal is, I guess, for the remainder of 2022. Is it simply a matter of we want to get out and play as live wherever we possibly can?
Yeah, I think so. So the main focus will be to go on some sort of European tour this autumn, maybe in September, October. So we're working on planning different ways to do it, and then just, I mean, try to play as much as possible, and hopefully, I don't know if we have time to record new music this year, but it's there somewhere in the near future. Hopefully we can go on a weekend and just, I think, press play and improvise in a studio on the countryside, maybe.
See what happens, see what comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be nice to come out with some new music.
I do love when I talk to bands during a cycle and the promotion of a current album or release, because inevitably you almost wish to start talking about what you're doing next musically, because of course you're an artist and you're constantly working forward. But for now, it's Hilma, and it's out now via Lovely Records, and it is a wonderful, incredible album that I urge everyone to experience. And if you're like me and you're in the UK and you guys aren't coming over here just yet, jump on a bloody plane and fly to Europe. It's not that far.
Exactly.
Gents, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?